On days like today, I try not to leave the car. I drive to the training center, I drive around, talk to all the trainers, see how things are going. But as far as the getting out of the car in the pouring rain at 3 degrees Celsius, no, it's not something I endeavor to do. So I am going to do some videos while I'm here, though. I'm going to talk about the 2-year-olds. So I gave you guys an update last week of when they're coming back, what they're doing, what they're up to. If there's any updates, obviously this is the place you'll find them, but this list will go through it pretty quick because not a whole lot has changed from last week, but some has. So we're going to start with Adrenaline Rush. He's still slated to come back January 1st. That is still on schedule. Barbie's Crown is stuck in the Bermuda Triangle. That is Shed Row 5. Can't race until we get a negative gluteal swab next week, which I suspect we'll get. She will be entered for next weekend, but that will be pending a negative test from the entire Shed Row. Better's Hope, again, January 1st is when he's slated to come back. Blue Monk, we're going to castrate Blue Monk. I'll send a note out this week, but do I think, do I think that played a major role in him racing the way he did? Yep, I think it did. I never thought that this horse would have any sort of bad attitude. He's always had a great attitude. But, when you stop their training as 2-year-olds and bring them back as 3-year-olds, later in the 2-year-old season, into the 3-year-old season, they too can change. So we'll castrate Blue Monk right away and have him ready for the first part of the year. Braemar is back now. He is in Johnny's barn, the top barn. We're going to start jogging and training him back. He looks good. He's growing up a little bit. Still a little thinner than I'd like to see him. He never did carry a ton of weight, but we're going to try and pack that onto him over the next month and a half or so. Brilliant Corners will be coming back next week for Harry. He'll be back here in Harry's barn. Cambridge Star was a little sick in his qualifier. We're going to train him up real hard and race him next weekend somewhere. Can't Muscle Me trained awesome the other day. I trained her on a sticky track at Mohawk, 2-4 last half of a minute. She was really, really good. Captain's Maid is back going now. Harry trained her a second trip yesterday, I think. So she's back in training. Carry a Big Stick did not train that great. Was okay. I was going to post it, but with so much uncertainty around potentially having somebody that may want to buy them, I'm not going to go out on a limb until somebody says, yes, I will offer you X. At that point, I will let our clients know, my partners know on that, if it's something we want to take or not. This time of year, I want to see the Jesse Balboas, right? I want to see the horses that didn't train great in the spring into the summer. Horses we rested, brought back, and then look good. Can't Muscle Me, Jesse Balboa, and that list will grow over the next month or so. Then you got horses like Stick that try, but they're just still stuck in the same ruts. We're going to have to look at maybe moving those horses along, and that's just fair to everybody. So I'm going to hear the gentleman out today. I did sell Really Blue Chip, so the gentleman that bought her was also going to look at Carry a Big Stick. If he gets sold, he gets sold. If he doesn't, he doesn't. We'll see how that plays out today, which would be, you'll know by now, 2 days ago. Cut the Line is going to race next week, hopefully also. She is another horse stuck in that Shed Row 5, Bermuda Triangle, where we can't move them until they get negative strangles tests next week. But as I said, there's no horses in that Shed Row that look sick in any way, so I suspect they'll all come back good. Eternity Road. Now, he was a lot of question marks with this guy. I just watched him jog a minute ago. Started out a little pinchy on that left hind. That he looks like it was the scar tissue today, because as he got a lap into him, he looked better. I looked out my window and he looked fine. That was at around 2.5 laps. So I suspect that's that scar tissue, which is good. I want to see that continue to work into a place where as he gets faster and faster and faster and faster and faster and faster and faster, that ligament, that scar tissue, that leg follows along with it in a proper path. So, if we start to train him and he gets a little sore, back off. And I think after we get it blistered up and start it moving again, it'll get better. You'll see a number of these hurdles where we just come to it and stop, to take a breath, let's work on them, and then continue on. I think that's the best way to get this horse to the races, and that's the plan we're going to be following right now. Today, he looked great. First Glance is back in now. He looked good. He was hot the first day. They had to bring him back in, put a hood on his head. He was a little excited to be back at work. he was sharp as a tack and looked good today jogging. Also, where are we at here? Cambridge, can't must me. Fox Valley Britska qualified great, no hobbles on Fox Valley Britska, which says a lot. This is a horse that trained down with a zinging tight hobble and had a real attitude problem, and now no hobbles, quiet, methodical, did his work very well. If you watch the qualifier, there was some stupidity going on with, James and Bob were screwing around a bit, I guess, but he would have won the qualifier, put it that way. Finished second, qualified well. I was happy with him, and I suspect he'll be going to Mohawk. I don't think there's any reason, especially when we have Jesse Balboa and Cambridge Star and horses like that trying to find their way on the B tracks and the maidens. There's no need to bring Fox Valley Britska over there, who I think, it wasn't like yesterday was a great day anyway. I think getting him to Mohawk, he'll try 58-59, which is enough to win the maiden Mohawk right now. The maiden at Mohawk right now. So I suspect that's a good place for him. That's where he should be, and that's where he's going. His next start, his first start back, will be at Mohawk in the maiden. Frilly Fringes. Little issue with Frilly Fringes. She kept spiking a temperature last week. Her feed, she wasn't off her feed. She had lots to drink. Physically, you wouldn't tell there was anything wrong with her, but she did spike a temperature. It would come down with medication. Then a couple of days go by, she'd spike another temperature. Had to give her the medication to bring it down. Now, this is just like taking Tylenol. This was butanbanamine and orbanamine. But that temperature spike has cost her time. Now, she would have been qualified by now, like Fox Valley Britska, and ready to go, but she's not. So she's getting over it. The vet doesn't seem too concerned with it. They've done some blood work on her just to make sure there wasn't anything going on. Now, before you let your mind wander and say, well, what about the strangles with the other? She was never anywhere near them. There's no concerns with that. Even the veterinarian had ruled that out right away. There's no clinical signs there's anything wrong with her other than she's got a little touch of the virus. So Frilly Fringes, as frustrating as it is, she's coming. Girls with Swirls, going to Mohawk, training around 2-3 this week. She'll qualify. I think now we made a little change. She has been at Jason McGinnis's barn. We moved her to Harry's because Jason had all the Ohio horses come back. His barn is full. It's overflowing right now. So we moved some of the overflow, which was Girls with Swirls, down to Harry's barn. She's pretty well ready to go. They'll train her up this week. Gray as the New Red is coming back probably in a couple of weeks. I want to likely bring back Ailsund also from that. Maybe even White Tiger, depending on the classes. I think Oso Pine is a fantastic fit, and hopefully Cruising in Style fits in well at the Meadows also. Those would be two horses that would fit Tim great, and would if we moved White Tiger out of there and brought him back here, it would free up some room. And if he happens to race great, I think that White Tiger is a great fit. For Tim, so I would like to leave him there if we could. But if we have to bring him home, we will also. That'll be up to White Tiger and Tim. We'll see how they make out on Monday. But it's a long way from Gray as the New Red. Gray as the New Red is coming back in a couple of weeks. GW Chrome is back now. Looks good. We'll start jogging him. He started jogging yesterday, I believe. Holy Chick, again, down in Shed Row 5. She'll be ready to race. She'll be entered to race next week. Iglarium. This is a filly. One of my most interesting sophomores. I want to see this filly and how she comes back. I was so impressed with the way she jogged at the Meadows in the maiden, and then the way she was second in 55 in the mud. Now she was beat a bit, but she trotted 56-4 in the pouring rain in Philadelphia. She's a filly I'm keeping my eyes on for 2021. She looked very, very good her last two starts of 2020. I'm a Lovely Lady looks good. She's back in now and looks great. I'm Hill on Wheels is about to start back up jogging. He's on a very similar program to Eternity Road. We'll see how he seems in the next coming weeks. Italian Grit. Kevin had trained him in 2:15 the other day, said he looks good. Jazzy Judy, our end of the season queen. She finished off her 2020 season with a victory in the final of the Delaware Sire Stakes. She'll be out in the field till March. They don't start up again till July. Lots of time to let Judy grow up. And if you saw her, if you mapped her 2020 training and racing season, you would say, yeah, she needs a rest. She broke her knee in May. She wasn't 100% all the way through her 2-year-old racing season. Seemed to be just different things bothering her, and they compounded to make her look terrible in the warm-ups, but good in the race. So those things that did that compounding, those things that chipped away at her and bothered her, they should be healed, I think, with just some time off, and a little TLC. So she's gonna stay in Delaware. It turned out we'll bring her back. As I said, we'll bring her back, I guess, March, end of February, first part of March. I just want her first steps onto the track to be without corks on. So March we'll probably aim to bring back Jesse Balboa. Whoa, I didn't see that coming. I like that horse. I liked his gait. I liked the way he trained down, but he wasn't awesome. I trained him here in 2.7. He said, he's okay. James told me how good he trained. I think the day I went with him, it was just an off day because the qualifier was okay. And then I raced him last night. And for him to show the tenacity he showed, he hit up on his arm. So for those of you that have horses, you have knee boots, right? That cover the knees. But way up over there, you don't often get horses. You have those old knee and arm boots that we wear on some horses. But he had even up over higher, even higher than where the knee and arm boots would cover. So we're going to cover that up with a shin boot and some vet wrap next week. Man, oh man, for him to hit that, and he didn't just touch it once. He scuffed it up 5 or 6 times. He got at it. So good for him to show the tenacity he did and the focus to stay at it. And then I think that last one he hit was in the turn where you see him kind of run out a little bit. He kind of stung himself. And when he run out, he did touch a wheel. Just ever so slightly, but he did. So for a horse that, hit himself, drew blood, hit a wheel, stayed trotting, and then as soon as he got clear sailing down the road, shot right through and ended up second, it's a big mile for a young horse. And I was very, very impressed with Jesse Balboa. As somebody said, a long time coming. He's only 2. It's not really that long. It's just we've seen him since last November, so it seems like a long time coming, but he's still a 2-year-old. So very happy with Jesse Balboa. Keystone Raven's been training well. She's been in 212. Again, taking her time, getting her ready to go on the proper timeline. I know everybody keeps saying, where's Keystone Raven? Where's Keystone Raven? She's coming. Just relax. As I said, she had a pretty significant injury also she's training back from. Mario's doing the right thing, taking his time with her, and she'll be ready very, very soon. Let's roll on. Need to get him shot. When he gets long toes, he can't trot. You need, for a rare horse, for a trotter, he needs to have his toes shortened right up, and then he'll trot. He's been in 18. We'll continue to take him to Mohawk and pour some speed into him over the next few weeks, and then we'll see what happens there. Where are we at now? Miss Meringue looks great. She's in there. Mama Knows Best. My Jazz. She did grow up. She looks bigger. I didn't think she would. She sprouted up. She looks like a real nice trotting filly now. All of them come back good, but especially My Jazz. Very impressed with the way My Jazz looks. No Free Lunch will be coming back in. Maybe not next week. We'll give him a couple more weeks. It'll be around Christmas time, the first of the year. We'll bring in No Free Lunch. Northern Blizzard will be January 1st also. Now, I talked to Timmy, and Timmy and his girlfriend have Northern Blizzard out there. Perfect Record come back in, and he looks a foot taller than I remember him. He said, you think this horse grew? You wait until you see Northern Blizzard. He said he is gigantic. Good. Can't wait to see Northern Blizzard on January 1st. Off-Road Hanover, again in the Shed Row 5 fiasco. He'll be entered for next weekend. Perfect Record is back jogging now. He looks very, very good. Rose Run Why Not is coming back in with Gray as a New Red from Schaefer Farms in Pennsylvania. We'll bring them back in 2 weeks' time, so first part of the year. Set the Mood is racing tomorrow night. Now, as I said to my partners and our clients with Muscle Chrome, I'm not going tonight to race her in the mud. That ain't happening. So, Set the Mood is in tomorrow. Track should be a little better tomorrow, and I will go drive Set the Mood, but that'll be 1 for 2 because that's a no on Muscle Chrome. Cyrus Blue Chip will be back in January 1st. So Admirable. Watch So Admirable train. Now, I'm sorry if I skip over a horse like Cyrus, say I'll be back January 1st. It's not really much for me to say. He is turned out till January 1st. He's in a holding pattern. But as soon as I see him, you'll get an update. But I can't give you much more than an update than he's turned out because I don't see him every day. So Cyrus Blue Chip will be back in January 1st. So Admirable looked great training yesterday. Very impressed with her. Stacy Hanover's training down. Sweet Ambitions, for those of you out there, I just thought she was an okay horse. Harry loves her. He thinks she's got a little more to offer than I believe she does. So I'm eagerly awaiting her return also. She'll be ready in a few weeks, I think. Tanzanite Tricks will come back in a week. I believe we'll bring her back in. That's my girl, January 1st. Tipsy and Dixie, next week she'll be coming back in. Walk on the Moon will get another 2-3 weeks, and then we'll bring him back in. Warrawee was up. I think he gets scanned by the vet, and then he starts up. So there's no real rush with him. So there's no point in saying, when's he starting, when's he starting? Do not rush. He had a significant injury that it appears he's overcome. It appears it is healed wonderfully. Once we get that ultrasounded and the vet gives us the thumbs up, then we start back with Warrawee was up. Warrawee, welcome. We'll start training next week. She's been jogging for a few weeks now. Well and down. Looks good. She's back in. And Won My Heart Hanover, I was really, really interested in watching her race. I thought Mario did a great job with her. I thought her qualifier was fantastic. I was eager to see her race. And now she's stuck in that Shed Row 5 conundrum that we had with the horse that would been in contact with a horse that had strangles. None of our horses appear to have it. They all seem healthy, but at the same time, yeah, there's Harry telling me I should go drive Muscle Chrome. I said, yeah. As I said, Won My Heart Hanover. We'll get to see her hopefully next week. So those are all the 2-year-olds. I'll be back in a minute. We get the 3-year-olds, we get the yearlings, and we get all the barns.